Always look on the bright side of life.
Do you like your spiritual films all porn stashed up with green screen images of the afterlife, heavily medicated performances, a grossly misnomered title, and actress Kate Bosworth decked out like one of the Stepford Wives modeling for a JCPenney's catalog? We've got all that and much, much more with 90 Minutes in Heaven. And before we flush it, we're going to take it out and play with it a little.
First your lips and whistle, that's the thing. Hey, always look on the bright
Restroom Cinema. We're here to flush it, so you don't have to see it. Greetings, everyone. I am Honor Knight, your head cinematic flusher right here in the Restroom. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-cinematic flushers, Midwest movie mogul Colleen Griffin.
Hey, hey, hey.
And Raging Buddha B-movie queen, Nora Crest.
What's up?
Also joining us as part of our extended co-flushing team this time out is a content creator who previously assisted with the flushing of Pompeii and Little Fockers. Please welcome back the lovely and talented Sara Polton.
Hey.
Every time Raging Buddha B-movie queen Nora Crest spends some time in our stall and reads the writing on the restroom wall, she's never quite the same. Let's see who turns up in this week's Raging Buddha Stats.
Hi diddly-do there, I'm Pastor Don, and these are the stats for 90 Minutes in Heaven. 90 Minutes in Heaven, what can you say? My experience in heaven was so wonderful, magical, and well, heavenly, that I completely forgot all my earthly troubles, my family, my friends, and loved ones. Fuck them! I'm in heaven, y'all! Then I had to go back down to my broken body and my cold wife, who I guess I love, maybe. But all I can think about is heaven. It's the drug I need. I mean, I really went there, y'all, and thousands of people across the planet have read my book and listened to me preach about heaven. The question this movie doesn't ask or answer is, why did I get booted out? Does that mean I can't go back? Why didn't Jesus come out to say hello? Was it real? Am I crazy? Okay, Dawn, get it together. Happy place, heaven, just breathe. I'm Dawn Piper, and these are the gosh darn stats. Praise Jesus!
Film should have been called either Hi Diddly Ho Heaven or 121 Minutes in Porn Stash Hell. Holy shit, guys. I can't remember or call another title to a film.
I'm raising my hand. You can't see me, but I'm raising my
All
hand.
right, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. What do you, before I steamroll into this, there was my...
The Baptist Menace.
The only thing I could think of was Doug and Wendy Weiner. I have a list of people that I purposely don't go see their films. Hayden Christensen is on that list because all he does is whine.
Yeah, but if you
every movie that he's in, it's like he's the Daniel Day-Lewis of whining.
I can't recall another title to a film that had less to do with the plot than this one.
Have you guys heard of that game, 7 Minutes in Heaven?
Yes.
Because that's what I thought this was about, and I was upset.
Was this film written by 1853 scriptwriters?
No. It
Why
was
does
written
everyone
by
talk
her
like they're in an
husband.
old Western film? I mean, I know they're from Texas, okay, and I have relatives from Texas.
Let's talk about
But
it, right.
people in Texas don't fucking talk like that. And in 1989, when I happened to be alive, people didn't talk like that. God.
I said the only thing this film will inspire you to do is change religions.
Oh,
If you're going to give me a movie called 90 Minutes in Heaven, then I fucking want to know about heaven.
Exactly.
I want to
Thank
know
you.
what you talked about. I want to know.
Exactly.
All we're seeing is this is like my left foot with pins in the leg.
And yeah, that's what I said. The film plays more like a medical drama on 1980s bone reconstruction techniques than it does an inspiring story of faith. There's more about the medical end of it than there is any of the 90 minutes in heaven. Should have been 90 minutes in a hospital.
And when the guy, well, we'll get to that point. I'm jumping ahead.
I know.
Jumping.
Well, hang
skip
on.
to the end, and we're done.
All right.
Yes.
I wonder if they play this film at Baptist summer camps instead of episode 3, since it's more of an uplifting version of that film, and it stars the same actor.
Oh my God, there were so many scenes that actually reminded me
It's very
of the
I agree.
end of the Revenge of the Sith. Michael Polish, who actually adapted the quote unquote true story of this,
Yeah.
and directed it.
Just after he saw episode.
Who is Kate Bosworth's husband?
Oh, is he really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
Which
well, that
I'm
explains
like,
a
oh
lot.
my, oh yeah. I was like, oh, that explains why.
That explains a lot. All right, then I'll have to add some
But
jokes.
can I just say one thing that bugged me for the whole movie is that Hayden Christensen, he's narrating the film, which is your favorite, Honor, your favorite.
I do talk about that in a minute.
But
Brutal.
But he's supposed to be 38 years old. Now, in real life, he's 35, so he was playing aged up here a little bit. But not for 1 minute did I believe he was older than 16.
No.
Like a glued-on mustache.
I know. We'll talk about that.
My notes say 38 exclamation point.
Exactly.
He looks 19.
I thought that
Right?
too.
The Giving Films logo actually made me lose all hope and faith that this film would be any good. Who wants to bet 100% of the profits went to pay for Hayden's porn stash instead of going to charity?
Yeah, I think this movie was sponsored by Just for Men.
Let's deal with this right now. Hayden Christensen appears on screen around the 2-minute mark, decked out with a horrible Ned Flanders mustache that immediately erases any credibility you might have had for that character. This
It was like the Freddie Mercury mustache. Happy 70th birthday, Freddie, by the way.
In defense of the mustache, I just want to say that my father rocked a mustache like that for basically my whole life.
It looks like he's wearing a vacuum cleaner tag. First of all, Chris keeps insisting that it was a real mustache. I call bullshit.
I think
if it were real, it would look better.
It would
I mean, if it was fake, it would
I
look better.
will show you another picture of him like doing the thing that guys with mustaches do when they're like eating their mustache. You couldn't do this with a fake mustache.
If it were fake, it would look right.
It looks fake. No, it doesn't look right.
You know what I mean? It would have laid smoother.
No, I don't think so. We've seen a lot of fake mustaches.
Sarah's on the money.
I also wonder if he was cast because he had the word Christ appears in his name.
Probably.
Halfway through this movie, I went, "Oh my God, it's Darth Vader."
Well, gee, now Sarah gets that. That should have been your first joke, but okay. We can also nominate Darth Hayden in the worst freeze frame ever category, where he looks like he's kissing the camera lens just upon impact. Either that or he's kissing his career goodbye at the 3-minute and 30-second mark. The film opens with his narration. Well, I'll get to that in a second. And then he experiences this horrific car crash where a tractor trailer creams him. They froze frame the shot in the worst possible position.
Very weird.
Why would you do it right there? Like
exactly. Like Michael Polish seems like a twisted motherfucker.
First of all, the cinematography in this film was so fucking horrible.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
You were either looking up someone's nose or it was a straight shot down on Hayden Christensen in the bed.
So what was exciting to me about this film was, okay, we're going to see a really good car accident and we're going to see heaven, right? Like, that's what's going to be great. And neither were really good.
I died on January 18th, 1989. Annoying narration aside, which I love in the films, you'd barely be able to tell this film takes place in the 80s when everyone acts like they're still trapped in the 50s. 4-minute mark. That's the problem. Now, of course,
it's terrible.
This film does take place in Texas, so it could very well still be the 50s there.
No, don't blame Texas.
No, I don't know, but did everybody see that initially? I honestly thought it was actually a different decade.
No, it felt like a reboot of M. Night Shyamalan's The Village that took place in the where they preserved the 50s.
You know how I knew it was taking place in the 80s was that his car was so fucking crappy the defroster didn't work and he's like wiping the fucking windshield down with towel and
with
shit.
his handkerchief.
2 days earlier, Kate Bosworth shows up as Darth Hayden's Stepford wife around the 5-minute mark, again making me ask the question which decade this film takes place.
It was so Stepford wife. She's making lunches while everybody's eating breakfast. There isn't even a chair for her at the table.
No, because she's a wife.
You cannot tell me she was a Texas wife in 1989 and had that hairdo.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Everything's out of the 50s, guys. She's also in a dress.
No, I'm saying no Texas wife would have had that hairdo, even today.
But she's
huge. She'd have a big old
How did nobody have the Farrah Fawcett feather do?
And she's in a 50s outfit. I mean, she's dressed constantly in a dress, and it's ridiculous. It's not 80s woman. It is. It's very Stepford wife.
But she was in different pants and stuff, too.
No, one shot. One scene she was in a pantsuit. That was it.
She had that same, blouse
skirt
combination.
For the entire film.
It was different interchangeable colors and patterns, but it was the same thing. It was very creepy. I noticed that.
Christensen and Bosworth have so little chemistry together, you can almost see her cringe when he tries to touch her. Must have been the porn stash. They don't have any chemistry.
She looks dead inside. Even before the accident.
She does look emotionally dead, doesn't she?
I still think that they have more chemistry than he had with Natalie Portman.
No, I don't agree.
I feel like I gotta give it to Portman chemistry-wise than this.
Really?
I think so.
Drinking when you went and saw that. probably were.
Yeah. It would have been good if there was some kind of conflict in his life and then this accident like taught him something, but it was not the case at all. It was like everything's perfect and then now I'm miserable.
Or it would have been great is if he had a perfect life and you saw an actual happy person.
But there,
Yeah.
He just seemed like the biggest miserable fuck for like 1 second when he's like, hey, if you come with me, we can order some room service.
but
you
it
know,
sounds like they haven't been
And
sleeping
she's
together.
like, oh, they probably don't even have room service.
I know, but listen, I understand. I mean, they're married and they have 3 kids. I get the scenario, but
There's a
I
disconnect.
didn't see at any point in his life, even when he's preaching, I don't see that he's happy. Like,
That's
he's supposed to be a minister. This is his calling. He's supposed to be this great guy. Everybody loves him. He's going to start his own church. If I sat down and that guy's fucking preaching, I'm taking a nap.
We know God is calling us to tell others about heaven. Sadly, we learned very little about heaven in this film. Mission failed. 7-minute mark. So now he's up there preaching about what heaven is like. Let me tell you, folks, we don't learn too goddamn much. We'll tell you about it. Sometimes what inspires you isn't what you end up doing. Boy, ain't that the truth. I was inspired to make great movies, and now I end up flushing crappy ones here in the restroom. Mission accomplished. Hey-o.
Okay, that was pretty good.
All right. Yeah, hello, whenever I do a sick burn on myself, yeah, it's awesome. I don't know. That might be the sound of Nicole growing up. I don't know about you guys, but I'd sure like to hear a few more of those sounds.
Okay, thank you, Woody Allen.
So there's some home life. He has 3 kids. One's an older daughter who's just about to bloom into.
She's 12.
Right, she's 12.
Yeah.
And she's got 2 younger twin boys. So all the child actors are
Who are
terrible.
obviously fraternal twins.
He's back. Now we're back in the car. Now we're back to the accent because we got to see the full accent we didn't get to. And he says he's singing in the car and he's talking, he's preaching, he's going over a sermon. He says,
Weird.
It is weird. He says, I believe in the great God. I guess God doesn't share that same.
Great God.
Well, okay, but I guess God
The
doesn't share the same belief since he creamed you with that semi, huh, Lord Flanders? 12-minute mark. Boy, he gets it good.
He sounds mentally ill. He's like, I believe in community.
I
believe in family.
a little slow.
Oh my God!
It's like
again,
he's the Forrest Gump of preaching, and he's not even.
or like again, I hate to bring it back to SNL again, but Tim Calhoun,
Yeah.
the Will Forte character on
Yes,
Weekend.
yeah, he's
And he
totally.
wasn't even, or like even like Stuart Smalley. I mean, he's not even
Yes.
as good as Stuart Smalley. Like, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it.
Hey, that's
people like
actually inspiring.
And it looks like his marriage was already falling apart before this thing happened. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Just footnotes before we get to the accident here.
Your first green screen view of heaven is around the 13-minute mark. Has all the impact of people leaving a sporting event on a sunny day.
Basically,
It's
and
terrible.
you don't even see anything clearly. You're just
No.
seeing a golden orb,
Bullshit
and
clouds.
then like clouds,
Walking
and
past the camera like they're
this is
leaving a
some of the
sporting event.
cheapest and worst CGI I've ever seen.
It was
This
an
is
Instagram
2015.
filter.
Well, first of all, I don't know. I can't find a budget.
$5 million was the
Okay, so they had $5 million. First of all, the opening and closing credits were done with the baked into the Mac iMovie. I think they edited this on iMovie. They didn't even go for like, the pro version or anything
Well,
because
no,
I did credits like that. I could have done the credit.
You guys got to
Right?
realize, though, the film is called 90 Minutes in Heaven. You really should have put some money towards looking at fucking heaven because that's the
Yeah, I
whole
just say
point of
something,
the film.
some more of McDonald's in this film than we saw.
Well, yeah, that's where the
Oh my
that's where the money
God.
went. We'll talk about that. He's dead. Unfortunately not, since there's over an hour and a half of running time left. The state police show up and they declare him dead.
Oh,
But he made a whole thing about how the coroner's the only person allowed to declare
I
someone
know.
dead.
Well, it's true. That's true. But
That
and
is
then
true.
You remember those haunted houses where you just like stuck your hand in and just felt like the gooey stuff inside?
Oh yeah.
That's how they felt his pulse. Like they weren't even looking at him.
no, they just stick your hand in.
and they weren't even looking at him.
This just shows the difference between life-saving techniques in 1989 and what they do today. Like today, they would have used the jaws of life, pulled the guy out.
They do that.
They would have been
Right.
pumping him with CPR and shocking him and trying to bring him back to life while they threw him in the ambulance and cruised him as fast as they could to the nearest trauma center. 1989, they're like, oh shit, that guy dead.
Yeah, state law decreed that a coroner had to pronounce me dead. All of Lord Flanders' after-the-fact narration removes any suspense over whether or not he survives the accident. So the entire film is basically a time filler until just finally gets around to the point of what
the
happened
point
in
is
heaven.
that he died. He wants to make
Well,
it
we're
clear
gonna
in the
talk
film
about that.
he
We're gonna
died.
talk about that.
Oh, by the way, did that accident happen on the Footloose Bridge?
We got a pulse. And then I wrote, Rise, Lord Flanders.
Where did this guy come from? Like
What
the
guy?
creepiest white guy just
He's
shows
in
up
the
on the middle of
traffic
this
jam.
bridge and
He's
is
in the
like, "Can I
traffic
pray
jam."
for him?"
No, but
Oh,
who
okay.
is he, though? He was a friend.
He's one of the parishioners at the guy's church
He's kinda-
that he's
no
at,
idea.
but he didn't know it was the guy.
There are more pedophiles in Texas, I think, than anywhere else. Everybody in this film is a creeper. Everyone, even the women are creepers.
Well, they have like the weird male pattern
Weird.
baldness
Yeah.
and like half beard.
It's like a
Yeah, no, they
caricature
all
of white
do.
people.
Don's been in a wreck. What? A wreck? You know, it's what happens when two vehicles crashing into each other. But that's not important right now. All right, airplane jokes.
Wouldn't it have been better if they had been like, your husband's dead? That would have been way more dramatic.
No. But he's not dead. He's not.
No, but it would have been good if they were like, look, he's dead, and they were like, oh, he's not dead, and like there
Oh,
would have
yeah,
been
for
I think
a
dramatic
better scene.
purposes.
Would you like to speak to Don? First of all, why is Bosworth still sitting in the principal's office and not on her way to the hospital at the 22-minute mark? Why didn't?
Shock.
No, you would get in a car. If somebody says you're.
No, to me that was the most realistic
No,
part.
it was not realistic. You would get immediately in the car. You'd be gone. You'd be out and on your way to the hospital
She
immediately.
had zero reaction to this.
No, that's what I'm saying. She was on lithium, or not lithium. I'm sorry, Valium. What is that? Prozac. She's on something.
Valium.
Thank you. All right, a lot of Valium on that, or Vicodin or something. Whatever she was on, she was muted. It didn't make any sense.
You know, the thing is when people experience a tragedy and you have, whatever, some people go catatonic and they look like, they just got tased 22 times like Kate Bosworth. And some people go into action and they get frantic. So I think this is supposed to be based on the actual events that happened. So apparently this is how this guy's wife reacted to hearing he'd been in a terrible wreck and he's hanging on by his fingernails.
All right,
But
so
she didn't seem catatonic. She seemed like no reaction.
There
I
was
think she
no
was
reaction.
going for catatonic.
she has limited skill sets in terms of dealing with some of this acting stuff.
Can I just say something? She's being directed by her husband. I'm blaming her husband.
All right,
who is a
well.
child director and
Yeah,
got most
he
out of
was
it.
like,
Okay.
how would it feel if I died?
So they put the phone up
It's
to her
like,
ear.
so what's Orlando Bloom up to now?
Oh, but
Ah,
they put the phone up to her ear, and she said, "I swear to God," she says, "Don, how are you?" That is the dumbest question you can ask. The guy is literally bleeding out.
And did they have phones like this in ERs?
Yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
about that.
That you could just like hold them up to a.
That's a good technical question, but I think you're right on that. I don't think you can quite do that. But all right. So anyway,
Stretch that cord real far.
no, okay. That's okay. We deal with the situation every day. Not anymore. They don't. And I'm referring to this insurance information scene. No insurance info. No service, guys. They have her fill out the insurance information while she's in the.
Oh,
she gets to the
yeah.
hospital.
Oh my God!
And then
they have an almost 13-year-old daughter, and she doesn't know his date of birth. That's bullshit.
I went through so much like practical rage for this,
So
and see, it's like, oh,
Not knowing the insurance info off the top of your head, I'll give her that, but not the date of
it's
birth
her
of your husband.
insurance.
No,
It's
They'd be-
her insurance.
I know.
I know, but these days they'd be wheeling Lord Flanders back into the waiting room and letting him bleed out into Bosworth's
no, they
Stepford
would
Wives
not.
dress. Yes, they would at 26 minutes.
No,
If you
they
don't have
would
any
not.
insurance now, you're not getting served. I'm sorry.
That's bullshit.
That is not bullshit.
No, that is bullshit.
Well,
If you're,
all right,
if
well,
you're
you know
in a
what?
car wreck and they wheel
No.
you in from an ambulance,
If you
they're
don't have
doing
insurance,
whatever they need to do, and then they're gonna charge the shit out of you and put a lien on your house.
I kind of debate that because they needed to start chemo for my dad like ASAP, and initially like insurance didn't, and that was back like
I
when we
understand
still
that.
had
That's chemo. I'm talking about you're getting wheeled in from a car wreck and you're hanging on by your fingernails. Emergency room policy across the country is you have to be treated because they cannot turn you away. Legally, an emergency room cannot turn you away if you're in a life or death situation like giving birth, or you've just been in a car wreck, or you've been shot or stabbed. So they don't give a fuck what your insurance state is. If you come in unconscious and you're in a coma for 3 months and you don't have any ID on you, they're still going to treat you.
yeah, but why are they
and put
bugging
you
her
back
now
to
then?
life.
But why are they bugging her right then to fill out the
Because
insurance
the-
if you're
because there's-
saying?
Because there's family members there who can fill out the
Well,
forms.
not her though. She's a complete
Do it.
idiot. How do you not have this
But
information?
that was my
with you?
point.
Well,
is
and
that's
also-
her bullshit that she doesn't
All
know
right.
it.
why was that detail of her like being like, I don't know anything about my insurance or my
This
husband.
movie did not paint her in a good light at all.
And it's her
No, it didn't
insurance that
paint
he's on.
women in a good
Right.
light.
Your husband's very badly injured. No shit. Okay, that was my only note on that one. Because she finally gets to the doctor, and the doctor is explaining what's going on because he shattered both his legs or one leg or whatever, and they're gonna have to pull bone and stuff. It's very.
his explanation of what's going on is very strange. He goes, well, he's missing a bone. And she's like, well, what do you mean? And he goes, well, it's gone. And you're like, what?
And his x-rays are right out in the open like that.
Yeah, I know. You wouldn't have them. Yeah, I know.
I mean, I know it's Texas, and
his x-rays are just
they're not great at healthcare, but...
Good news is there's no signs of brain damage or internal injury. The bad news is he'll be helping to wipe out the rebellion with the big-ass Death Star, 32-minute mark. Another cheap
His injuries were almost the same as they were. Here's
my next... It is. You're right. You're correct on that. But here's my next technical question. We can all weigh on this. If he was clinically dead for 90 minutes, how did he not end up with brain damage?
That's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle from Jesus.
The prayer healed him.
The brain can only last 3 or 4 minutes without blood and oxygen. I hate to be technical on this stupid shit, but there's no way this guy, he's dead for 90 minutes and he came back.
Technical, but it doesn't matter. Global warming is just Jesus hugging us closer.
Okay, now we all want to do the Reverend voice.
It's not hot enough.
The problem with it is, like, let's say scenario-wise, death-wise, let's say he had been driven off of the bridge into the water and the water was freezing. 90 minutes, he could have actually, that would have preserved his brain function, and you would have had a scientific reason why he wasn't a total vegetable, drooling all over the place.
We like drool.
He was probably taking a nap for 90 minutes.
No, it's not.
And they just didn't really know he was
because
dead.
There's been so many scenarios. I mean, let's just not forget the great episode of Lost, where Ian Somerhalder and his girlfriend, that poison was in them, and it made it seem like they didn't have a pulse, but they did, and then they buried those motherfuckers alive.
Yes, those
so
annoying motherfuckers alive.
So low that it's undetectable.
I agree with that, but not in this situation.
Or, and this is just a thought, maybe it's because they had a bunch of incompetent paramedics and sheriffs who went, ew, blood, dead body, and just kind of put a pinky up to their shoulder and said, oh, they're dead.
There's no way he would have made it 90 minutes logically.
Well, the thing is, he was in a drug stupor. I don't even think.
The other thing is, though, I mean, wouldn't Jesus send him back to his body intact in some little bit? I mean, the thing about it is we could make fun of Christianity. We can make fun of this guy's thing.
Bullshit. This is cereal box Christianity.
And can I just say something? It doesn't even matter whether or not heaven is real, okay? Because that's
a hallucination.
Because that has nothing to do with this movie.
Right.
Because that's not what we even see in this movie.
Right, yeah.
So the whole topic of heaven should be off the table.
But I know, but that's the name of the film is 90 Minutes in Heaven.
No, I understand,
we have to address it.
I'm just saying to you, literally, we shouldn't have a debate on.
I know. I know. That's a separate thing. We can argue if he was hallucinating or whatever. I think if he was barely alive, he was probably hallucinating. And it's just an idyllic, because we'll talk about the checklist.
Honor, this was based on a true story. Therefore, it's true.
The hardest thing I've had to endure was my family seeing me in this state. The hardest thing we've had to endure is seeing this god-awful makeup job on your face around the 4-minute mark. He looks like Clubber Lang when a few rounds on him. I mean,
it looks like CVS makeup like you buy around Halloween.
It is. This is like Halloween store knockoff.
It is shitty makeup on that face. And that's really bad practical makeup. There's no reason it should have looked that bad. It looks fake. It's badly lit, and I think it doesn't look like a real bruise at all. And and we should mention about his eye. He's in a hospital bed, and one of his eyes is swollen shut. And we're talking about the swollen shut eye, but the makeup, like Polton said, it's CVS makeup.
He had both of his eyes open and was blinking completely fine during that that heartfelt phone call.
I think the doctor probably punched him in the eye or somebody.
He went.
I'm sending them home with my parents. Bosworth emotes so little over the course of the running time. Wouldn't surprise me if they had to check her pulse periodically during the shoot. She is just flat out terrible in this film. No, they have a scene. They're supposed to have an argument about whether to leave.
To me, that's barely concealed rage.
But it's just not well acted, and you don't really see that. There's one scene coming up where she does have a freak out, but it's really so badly shot and done. It's terrible. It's a terrible acting job on her part. She really doesn't really sell her talents in this film at all. But they have a fight about what to do with the kids, because she's got to run the show. She has to teach, take care of the fucking kids, and then come see him every day. I wouldn't even come see him every day. I don't understand why she had to keep doing that. But anyway, so the kids have to go to their parents, so she can just go back and forth to school, because you have to keep the insurance going. So this guy gets the care he needs and all this other crap that just keeps getting piled out that we don't give a shit about. We just want to know what the hell happened in heaven. Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order? Well, we now know where the $5 million budget came from. I mentioned that earlier, 38-minute mark. I think McDonald's paid for this motherfucker.
I think they did 100%.
McDonald's is in this a lot. Until it was time for me to come home, Eva would never sleep in our bed. Did she also do this when he was out of town for a conference? I don't understand.
She didn't when he was out of town. She was definitely sleeping in the bed when he was out of town for a conference.
But now she won't. I don't understand. Like, that's really dumb, guys. Is that really dumb? Like, because they're not fucking. You know, they're not sleeping together. They're obviously having a marital problem here.
She didn't want to disrespect their marriage.
But he's out of town on a conference, so like, isn't that disrespecting? I don't understand. Like, him being injured would be disrespecting to the marriage.
I don't understand anything about, honestly, their relationship and their marriage. Like, he's not there, so she doesn't sleep in the bed, and then she's like constantly at the hospital, but neither of them, you know, it's so weird to me. I mean, I watch too many medical dramas, I guess, to not be upset by this weird relationship. And then her parents are like, well, we're gonna take your kids to Louisiana.
Well, take the kids. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
No, but that's weird.
The whole thing is weird. I know.
Because they have that like adolescent daughter.
I know, like, I'm sorry, which middle schooler is gonna be like, oh sure, let me just move 250 miles from all of my friends.
Let me leave all my friends because I'm a cute, probably popular girl.
So while she's at McDonald's picking up takeout that she doesn't even eat, and then the next scene she sees a billboard for a lawyer, because now we're gonna have to call a lawyer on this, right? Because you gotta get some money. But I'm Cecil Beaumont. I am your beau. Dwight Yoakam shows up around the 40-minute mark as a personal injury lawyer, decked out like Sam Elliott's younger brother. I guess
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Oh,
I guess
disrespect Sam.
I actually liked him.
I guess no, come on. I guess Tommy Lee Jones was busy that day.
I was actually looking forward to Dwight Yoakam in this film.
I thought he was a little comic relief.
I thought he was going to be better.
He is completely wasted. I'm going to talk about that in one second. But his next line is he says, Cherry. He keeps saying that. Yoakam starts out like he's going to give an eccentric performance to compliment Bosworth's no-pulse phone-in, but then essentially disappears after only a few scenes. 2 scenes, actually.
No, honestly, I wonder how it was edited and directed. Again, it was her husband.
2 scenes he has, and I guess God had a different plan for him because he's literally in and out of the movie.
Well, God saved him.
I liked Dwight Yoakam. I thought he was great in Sling Blade.
That's what I mean. He saved him from this movie. So God is real.
Oh, you're right.
They bring him in, and you think, okay, there's going to be this lawsuit, and then they don't mention it for like 4 more hours because this movie is 20 hours long. And then they bring him back in, and she's like, oh, yeah, are we going to do that? And he's like, no.
Yeah,
but they didn't make it clear where the lawsuit was based.
Well, yeah, they talk about the lawsuit, but it's only really 2 scenes. Basically, they don't have a lawsuit because it was a prison truck hit them, and the Texas indemnifies all the prisoners who were driving the truck, so they aren't going to get any money out of the state.
Well, actually,
what it comes down to, like he said, if a Budweiser truck had hit them, they'd be in millions. So she's not getting a fucking dime. But here he's just that's a shame because I think he started out to be a unique and fun character, and then he's all his stuff is dumped out after 2 scenes. And maybe that's Michael Polish's. Maybe there's other scenes with him that were not edited because the film's 2 fucking hours. So read into that what you will. He refuses to breathe. That's what the Darth Vader helmet is for. 49-minute mark.
It seriously is. There's so many parallels to that final scene.
Darth Vader.
Well, and I'm sorry, Anakin was a whiny little bitch.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, this guy's a little whiny too. So.
No, that's what I mean. That's my point.
If I wanted to watch a man lay in bed and moan in disgust for 2 hours, I would have sex. I wouldn't watch this.
Wow. Thanks, Polton, for taking us down a notch.
There we go.
Like myself, he was an ordained minister and one of the most loving human beings I've ever known, especially to altar boys. But I'm bummed. That's my follow-up. Not quite as good as what Polton did. He was able to organize churches all over the world to pray for me simply by faxing them. Hey, I didn't know they had fax machines in the 1950s.
You know what I would love? If they would cut to like
a fax machine?
No, they cut to like that scene from Adventures in Babysitting with Christina Applegate trying to send a fax.
My notes say watching people pray is boring.
Oh my God! Yeah,
it's so boring.
But they don't even show anyone praying. They showed people lighting candles. I mean, is this a fucking like Airwick ad or is it a fucking straight up prayer?
It started out looking like a Prince video.
That makes sense. You're telling me really all people around the world are going to be praying for this guy?
White male lives matter.
Oh, yeah, he's a white dude in Texas with a porn stash.
But can I just say something? The other thing that bugged me, besides the fact that Hayden Christensen looks like one of my sons with a fake mustache on his face, but his hair never grew. I mean, this guy's in the hospital for 150 days. His facial hair, they never show him shaving or anything, or someone shaving him. They don't show. When did he get a fucking haircut? His hair looks exactly the same.
So why didn't the mustache grow?
I know. There's something. Nothing grew.
May I have a moment, please? Bosworth takes a lot of moments in this film, but unfortunately doesn't bother to act through any of them. She's terrible. That's one of her lines. But
she's really good at like looking out at a window and being pretty.
Right. So because she takes a moment. So now they have to introduce, because his bones are separated. There's this really fucked up contraption. I'm going to mention that 1 second that pulls the bones together. And that's the scene. And she's in a doctor's office. So she asks, "What is that?" It's this round. It's just a erector set type thing. And he says it's a fixator. And that's what I wrote in capital letters: Robo Stash. Part man, part machine. All stash. Because so basically he had to put his leg in that, and then take bone marrow from his arm to put in his leg to kind of fuse the bones together, so he walks normal and all this crap. And she asks how long it's going to be in there, and he says, well, a year maybe. He goes, I really don't know. And I wonder if Darth Vader got that same speech post Vader costume. It's creepy how many references to episode 3 you're gonna get out.
Seriously, doesn't it feel like
It does. I wonder if he knew that acting in it. I wonder if he was consciously aware that this is very Darth Vaderville. Maybe that's what drove us.
No, I put that in my notes like 4 or 5 times.
God, wouldn't it be great if they did, in episode, 4, 5, and 6, they took off, when, Luke took off Darth Vader's helmet, he had a porn stash?
I would die.
That'd be fucking awesome. That'd be the best. Somebody's out there that can do that.
Someone edit this.
If somebody can edit a porn stash onto that guy's face in that scene and then send it to us, that would be awesome. I would pay money to see that.
But it's not even just the porn stash on Hayden. It's the way he's changed his voice.
Yes.
Like, we're supposed to believe that I know at the end you see the real guy. He doesn't talk like he's got a mouth full of marbles. And he's going to very carefully choose every word that he says.
Here's the thing. I wonder if Michael Polish, because I guess he's a writer on this too. Is there a novel of this guy's experience?
It was based on a novel. I
feel like he just copy and pasted it into the script.
Hi diddly ho, Luke.
No, you're right, because a lot of this movie is like people thinking. That's not a visual thing.
Day 25. Holy shit. Did anyone else feel like they've been in the hospital a hell of a lot longer?
Guys, I am so sorry.
Why would you do? I thought this movie would be 90 minutes.
No.
Me too.
90 minutes in heavens. 90 minutes.
Well, I thought it would literally be 90 minutes.
Well, it's 4 hours here, but yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was like 17 hours long.
Well, he gets moved to another. The insurance runs out, and you have to move him to another hospital. He can't. The insurance doesn't cover the hospital he's in. He has to finish up at a shithole hospital somewhere else in Texas, and they move him. So that's where he's at.
That is actually probably the most realistic.
That's realistic too. That's fine.
Yeah, but it's also boring.
A nurse comes in and she says, all you have to do is push this little... It is very boring. All you have to do is push this little button and releases medication. Wish I had one of those when I watched the film.
Oh, my God.
Let me explain what he was doing. They hook him up to that. It's called a morphine drip. And you hit the button to release the morphine. And it's a very small amount. The problem is he keeps hitting it, but that's bullshit. Because you can only hit it once. And then so much time has to pass before you can hit it again. That's to save you from ODing on it. My sister had one for her knees.
Ooh, good tip.
I know. Good. Well, yeah.
Well, you can hit it, but I mean, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, it only hits every
That's what I've been doing wrong.
Have you had a bowel movement today? Maybe that's why you're so grumpy. Well, now you know why I flush films like this one here in the restroom.
Heyo.
You're not even here anymore. Well, none of us are, Kate. None of us are. Okay.
Including you.
Because he goes into a depression at this point and literally stops communicating, which
she's telling her husband off. He's a fucking cripple in the bed. He can't do anything. And she's just like, you're not here anymore. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, no passion.
No, there isn't. It's so right. It's so she's not even right. She's not acting. She's not frustrated. I think she would have emoted more. I think any woman would have emoted more than this.
If that was my husband sitting in a bed and he's all fucked up and he's just ignoring me, I would have fucking moonstruck slapped the shit out of him. Like, listen, bitch, you think you're in pain now? Don't make me bring down the hammer of Thor.
This is the example they give of him ignoring them. They're like, "Do you want a magazine?" He's like, "No." And then they're like, "Why are you ignoring me?"
Yeah. Apparently, Katharine Hepburn started this.
No,
I never would have dreamed that a cheeseburger and fries would be so good. Baptists have low standards that they think McDonald's is so good. I put that in caps. This would explain a lot. Okay, oof, cheap shot at Baptist right there.
That explains like the majority of the Midwest.
I don't think Baptists like this film. I'm going to call it right now. And if there's any Baptists listening, you guys dug this film, let me know, because I don't think you guys did. I think it's an insult to a lot of religions.
I think it's an insult to Christians overall. I just think
it's
lazy.
Right.
Because first of all, you never get the background of what kind of Christian is this guy. Right. What does he preach on Sundays? Why didn't we see him giving a service and doing, ministering to his people and establish him as like an all-around good guy that people would drop everything and pray 24 hours for? This guy just seemed like the most boring, white toast, lame ass fucking dad with the pants up to his armpits. Like,
self-pitying. And also, like, it should say something that this dude really approved everything about this movie.
I said he's not in a depression so much as Hayden simply stopped acting because he didn't want to be in the film anymore. I think he really got to the point where he's like, this is not really working. I'm not getting the direction.
Was in physical pain.
Yeah, well, sitting around in that bed.
He looks like he has to take a shit, and he's getting that.
He does. He's got
when you can't move.
Yeah, you get the right. You're afraid.
No, I think it was like
got that constipated.
Over. Yeah, no, not even the constipated thing. Like, you just had too much Taco Bell, and it's gonna like fucking come right out. You have to like freeze yourself. Like, let me.
Yeah.
Don't explode. Just don't anything move. Don't freeze.
I wonder if they just brought him a bedpan. I wonder if he just asked for that.
I want to go home so I can take a shit in my own bathroom.
Right, please go back to my own trailer. Welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order? Bosworth's 2-second breakdown around the hour and 12-minute mark would explain our reaction to eating another McDonald's meal, but it does little explain her frustration over dealing with her injured husband. So there's the breakdown scene. In case you wanted to see it, she breaks down for 2 seconds in the car with the windows rolled up and then rolls down the window, and then there's a stupid cheap line saying, sorry, that's not on the menu. But I'm bummed.
Ugh.
I know. But
that was the worst.
You're gonna break down. Why didn't she break down and the camera just does a slow zoom in on her breakdown and then you fade out? Why would you?
I think she was angry. It could have
been a good moment.
It was a terrible scene.
I think she was hungry.
She was hangry.
That is what I had.
Isn't that awful? That was probably the craft services for the shoot was McDonald's. No wonder why Hayden had a shit. Like, he's probably been eating like quarter pounders with cheese for weeks on end.
Like, I thought about it when I was watching it. I was like, God, Kate Bosworth would have been amazing in Super Size Me.
It's almost as if McDonald's is another character.
If this is as good as it's ever gonna get, I don't want to be a burden. Sadly, this is about as good as it's ever going to get. All right, he's contemplating just wanting to die at this point.
Well, and then that doesn't make any sense with his character narrative, because the whole thing is he's being like, I don't want to be here because I was happier where I was.
Here we go, guys. Well, South Park hired me to be your intern while you were capacitated. Well, the kids of South Park showed good taste to hire veteran actor and senator Fred Dalton Thompson to appear in this spiritual train wreck. But sadly, this would be his second to last film before his death. The last one being, I swear to God, guys, it's called God Is Not Dead 2. How did he finish out his life doing two shitty religious movies back then?
He was trying to get into heaven. He was really working on it.
Yeah, but you think when he got up there, they would have let him in? Even Christ would have been like, dude, you did too.
You still like him after the debates?
Politically, he was off. I liked him as an actor. I'm not going to judge him on his political.
He's the same guy politically that he was as an actor. He's smarmy and like.
She's a fixator too. Anyone want to bet Lord Flanders and his teenage girl hook up a la David Cronenberg's Crash before the end of the running time?
No more chemistry with this teenage girl. Because they look like they were the same age.
To come back to life, he gets a note from another girl, a teenage girl who's having that stupid fixator thing attached to her leg because she was in an accident or something happened to her to get her legs right. And she writes a note to him, and he writes a note back. They have pen pals. They're in the she's literally in the room behind him. Is basically what
the thing is. It's like a half-ass. It's a half-ass side plot.
It is, yeah, that's nothing.
And then they don't even explore that.
No, they don't.
They don't even explore his physical therapy, which would have been like interesting. At the time, it was groundbreaking. Right. The stuff that happened to this guy, that's the real miracle, is that his fucking bones grew back and he didn't have to amputate his legs.
Honestly, I wonder how much influence the actual guy had on the editing of this.
I don't think he had any.
No.
You want to know why Hayden had chemistry with the girl?
He's not fucking her, was he?
No, she is the director's niece.
Oh, really?
Yep. Actually, I'm sorry. I take that back. She's the daughter of that's his daughter with someone else, and Kate Bosworth is her stepmom.
Okay. Oh. My first step is wanting to vomit. Rise, Lord Vader. Hour and 24 minutes.
Right?
To get him to breathe right, they have to elevate him, and to elevate him, they have to put the fixator on him so he can go from a prone position to a rest. But the rising scene, again, we're back to episode 3, guys. It's really, there's a lot of parallels between this film and that film. We're not talking out of our ass here. And then of course and during this scene they raised him up and they wheeled the girl in. We just mentioned the niece or whatever this is, and she says like, never mind, I'm not gonna do that one. All right.
No, the stepdaughter.
Yeah, it's not. She says something like, I take a broken nose to dance normal. I said she was a kinky chick.
That's gross.
Yeah, I know.
If you're facing being crippled for the rest of your life, yes, a broken nose would be much easier than that.
Okay, all right, never mind.
That's basically what she's saying. I mean, do you understand what's happened? Like,
I
to
know.
her,
It
the
was
guy
dark.
he lost his bones, they crumbled or whatever. She's literally had her bone broken on purpose and separated so that it will attempt to grow more bone. And for somebody like that, depending on what the difference was between her 2 legs, she'll have to do that multiple times.
Plus, the new home is closer to the church. Even when she's moving, Bosworth still dresses like she's attending an afternoon lunch, an hour and 25-minute mark. That's the pantsuit. So she goes from a skirt to a pantsuit, really nice. And you wouldn't be moving in that. You'd wear
a matching hunter green pantsuit.
You like this?
Right.
Yeah. Do you have one of those, Fulton? One of your...
Of course.
Okay.
That's what I move in.
That's what you moved in when you moved? That's what you
Yeah, I moved 3 weeks ago in my matching hunter green pantsuit.
And heels.
A little belt.
And heels, right? You were in heels.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Exactly. The Dawn Patrol would arrive at 9 a.m. Did anyone give a shit about the Dawn Patrol scenes? This is known as padding the already blown running time. We're an hour and 30 minutes in. Who gives a shit who turns up to watch the guy at home?
They send the children away because they can't take care of them. But they have this whole community to just watch this dude.
I know it was too much for people to pick up the kids for like 5 minutes or take them to school or something like.
He's supposed to be this community leader. I think a big part of being in this religion is to have a community to take care of each other. And then they're like, man, let's just ship the kids off.
Right, but all these randos show up at his house and they're probably going through his underwear drawer and stealing his silverware. You don't know what these fucking...
They're just staring at him in his sleep and like knitting.
Right.
Like, really, yeah,
oh my God. Like, it felt like a Comedy Central show about a preacher.
If I was recovering, I wouldn't want anybody strangers in my house.
I'm sorry, there was a weird homoerotic thing going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, yeah, Griff started watching a completely different movie.
No, like the way he came in and he's like, if I can do anything for you, I will.
Look, I'm really good with lotion. If you want me to rub lotion on anything, I will happy to rub lotion on
I might wake up and see someone sitting on the couch.
Like, I'm sorry, Lieutenant Dangle.
All right, Griffin with the win. I did it. I walked. Rise, Lord Vader. I keep writing that same line because there's a lot of scenes where he finally gets up and decides to walk on his own. He falls over after 3 steps, but we want to see Lord Vader kick ass. Death Star.
So anticlimactic.
Like most of Sarah's dates. Hey, okay, there we go.
Accurate.
I got my fixator stuck to the toilet seat. Film decides to play homage to Lethal Weapon 2, but without any of the humor or charm. Hour and 34-minute mark. Once again, I'm dating myself on that one.
What I thought when I saw this was, this is really the first time he got stuck on the toilet with the
I know, that doesn't make any sense. It's a dumb scene. They make him, he falls over and they make it...
At least something happened. Like, at least there was a conflict. There was a twist. Like, something. It wasn't just him going...
This was probably the one scene that Don Piper really wanted in the movie. He's like, we have to have it in because it's so funny when I got stuck that one time with my fixator on the toilet seat. Remember that? Remember that, Eva? You remember that when I got stuck? And you remember that?
Oh, that's so true.
And she was like, oh, yeah, you never did tell me how that happened. He goes, doesn't matter.
Dad, will you dance with me?
That scene was creepy.
Dad is still...
Oh, my God.
Okay, I'm calling a massive timeout on this scene. They're fucking playing Leanne Womack's I Hope You Dance, which did not come out until fucking year 2000.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I have that in my notes.
Because that was my next question, guys. How much of that budget went to the rights to use that song and at the hour and 35 mark? Because
song.
She has a birthday party, and she wants him to dance with him. He's in a wheel. He's really fucked up. He really shouldn't have been standing up at all, but he does manage to get up to dance. But they're playing this. Well, you say Liam Womack? I don't know who the.
He should have just been playing safety dance at this point.
No, that would have been awesome.
Or Walk Like an Egyptian.
Walk Like an Egyptian.
It tells you to, like, every other paralyzed person, if you can't get up because your daughter asks you, like, nicely enough, you're a failure.
You are. You're a piece of shit. You should be getting up.
What a dick move. To, like, walk up to your dad and be like, I want to dance.
Yeah,
you are.
Daddy, I know you can get up.
Now.
No, I'm
partying.
What is that?
handicapped. No, but I want you to dance.
It's like a Sweet 16 show, like that MTV thing.
Yes,
I want you to dance. My daddy sucks. He didn't get me to Rolls Royce.
Oh, by the way, we were talking about Sarah moving. One time when I had to move, I was like, oh, there's a Super Sweet 16 marathon.
Yeah, I'm not doing shit. I guess, Chris, I got to ask you if this gave you any Scientology flashbacks at all, because I thought...
Well, the thing that gave me the flashbacks was just the total dead eyes that both Kate Bosworth and Hayden Christensen had, and the no emotions.
Okay,
I mean, they were like basically an atypical Scientology couple. Like, how are you today?
Well, that was what I got. That was the vibe I got. That's why I wanted to ask you about that, because it's not really Baptist. It doesn't seem like a very warm religion. It seems like Scientology based. Like, it's
but see, that's totally wrong. I mean, all the Bible thumping Christians I know are at least passionate about it and want to, like, tell me why I need to believe in Jesus and why I need to be saved and all this stuff. And I felt like if I had run into this guy in a coffee shop in 1989, I'd be like, Jesus is going to save you. And I'd be like, okay, creeper.
Yeah.
That would have been the end of the conversation. You know what I mean? Like, it just, there's no passion.
All right, let's keep. Now we got to get to it here. Here's the meat of the action, folks. That's what you've been waiting for. I died that day. The next moment, I was standing in heaven. After only 98 minutes, guys, we finally, and I put that in caps, get to the point of the fucking movie.
But can I just say something? He finally tells his wife he went to heaven, and her reaction is this, literally. You went to heaven? Yes. Tell me more.
Yeah, I know.
You had way more passion.
That's the line I wrote, though. He says, you went to heaven, and I said, no, he went to a fucking green screen.
No,
Sounds
like, did he have a car?
A bunch of extras are going to stand around and walk out of focus past the camera and smile. Heaven blows. That's what I wrote at the hour and 41 minutes. This is what heaven looks like.
Why is everybody just milling around in heaven waiting for you? This sounds like the worst waiting room in the universe. Like, you're just fucking sitting there watching the clock tick down on your friend's life. Like, right. Jesus Christ, man, because this fucking guy get here already.
Exactly. And my next line, the line is...
Then it's like, heaven was great because I got to meet, like, Steve from 8th grade, my other friend John, and then, like, Nana and Peepaw, and it was the best.
The line he says, I can only rejoice at being together with these wonderful people that we were just talking about. And that's why I said Lord Flanders' description of heaven is taken directly from every other lame description of heaven. Dead relatives, clouds, pearly gates, all that shit. It's like he read the description off a religious cereal box.
Let me just throw this out here as a theory.
Oh
Maybe
God.
whatever every person sees that's gone to heaven is their interpretation of what heaven would be like. So let's just say, if you were to die right now, Honor, what would your heaven look like? Like, who would be there?
Do you really want to know the answer to that?
I don't think. I think it would.
Because that's what I'm saying. I think that it really would be an individual thing. So I think this milk toast white bread guy is just like, oh, and hi diddly day, there's my
hi diddly neighbor. That's a pretty.
And it's like so boring, just like he is.
But Chris, that's the point. This is the point of the film. This is what we've been waiting 98 minutes for, is to hear what 90 minutes in heaven were like. What is this experience like? He finally opens up about it, and it's complete bullshit. It's stuff we've seen in every other movie.
It's so cheap and lame. You know, obviously it was beyond description, but then, okay, show us something really fantastical.
Right, but that's what we've been waiting for, is what is this? But he doesn't even really describe it that well. I mean, he does go
the
for
climax of the film is a description of something that already happened.
This dude is kind of a textbook narcissist, that he was like, oh, I went straight to heaven.
He didn't go through the tunnel.
No, I went.
Well, no.
I went immediately.
But can I just say something? The trivia for this movie says, although this movie is advertised as a true story, the claims of Dom Piper having gone to heaven have never been independently verified and are taken only by word. Do we have a heaven verification unit somewhere?
No, nobody goes to heaven and comes back.
Murder each other and then are like,
there are episodes.
What he saw. I mean, come on.
There's no emotional connection to this scene because Lord Flanders here didn't interact with any of these extras in this vision prior in the movie. Like, they're all just day players who probably, We're paid in Bibles. Yeah, they probably.
But like, it would have been great if instead of saying, "Oh, I had this friend Steve," if like at the beginning of the film they had shown him and the friendship and shown him going to the funeral.
They don't establish him as a human at all.
Right.
No,
none of these people in heaven are established as humans, right? They're all
and you know what? He didn't do anything wrong until he whined.
Yeah,
the only thing he's ever done wrong in his life was whine.
Just as suddenly as I arrived at the gates of heaven, I left there. Wah wah. Debbie Downer music on that one. He got kicked back to Earth. He didn't get to stay. Sorry, guys. Got to see a bunch of people we never saw before, and then he's kicked back down. But that's kind of a good thing because it was a pretty shitty version of it anyway. It's only taken me 5 months to get from the conference at Trinity Pines back to the church. It's taken us a lot longer to get through this religious fever dream of a film at the hour and 49-minute mark, folks, guys. You prayed. I'm here. Once again, rise, Lord Flanders. Or Lord Vader, whichever you want to sub in for that.
Yeah, and the thing is, obviously, this whole movie was like structured to make him look like this amazing person, and it did a terrible job of doing so.
Someone was holding her hand, but it wasn't Dick. Well, as they say, a dick in the hand. ...
Oh, or is that not how that goes?
Well, you shouldn't have really finished out the joke. But all right, we can go that route too. Wow.
And the burning bush.
One day you will walk again, right out of the movie theater to get our money back for this religious infomercial. My God. And then the final thing, there's a bunch of title things come up at the end of this. Because he ends up preaching. He talks to some other guy who has a fixator on conveniently in the same church where he preaches in and gives him some advice. And then he goes up and God is great. He's walking again. Big fucking deal, right?
0 handicap
Thank you.
seating in this church, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Right about that. Since 2004, 90 Minutes in Heaven has been read by more than 7 million people, all of whom tried in vain to get their money back after reading the spiritual cereal box. When your film really sucks, throw a little Elvis over the end credits. All will be forgiven. I kind of like that.
By the way, wasn't Elvis denounced by most preachers? He's actually a Baptist preacher.
You're absolutely correct on that.
Guys, the second this film ended, I fell asleep with Crest white strips on.
Oh God, boy.
That explains a lot right there.
My teeth look great.
I'm sure.
But I don't fall asleep like ever. Like I'm not a napper.
Oh,
not a
sure.
sleeper, and I was out.
I knew I liked you.
Oh Lord, why did you let me see heaven? The greater question is, why do we have to see this asshole? Oh wait, why do we have to see the asshole this film was based on after the film was over? Okay, that's been an hour and 15. Why do we have to see the actual?
Because they want you to know he's a real person.
I'm sick of seeing that. It undermines the performance of the actor playing that character. We shouldn't have seen this guy, but now he starts talking. And this is over the end credits, folks. And it's something. There's a line that says heaven is real. And then again, so are crappy films like this one very real. That was my final note on this one. Why is this guy making money off of this? Off this bullshit version of heaven that you can read anywhere?
The book has been translated in 47 languages. What the fuck?
He doesn't offer anything new unless the
book has to be way more interesting than this movie.
Because they give it to poor countries instead of food. Or clean water, or a way to get clean water, or medicine.
It'd be like writing like what hell was like. You can go down a checklist. Well, we got,
Danny Trejo did that show.
This was absolutely terrible. It really kind of shits on religion itself. We're not really crapping on it. They already did it for us. I don't think it doesn't sell baptism or Christianity at all. I think it's a kind of antithesis to that. If Christianity is like this, being boring and stagnant and dead inside, like I don't who wants
and self-pitying.
Yeah, it's not really.
And I'm gonna live because I can get attention. I can tell other people and they can admire.
Let me just say something to the listeners out there. If you want to see something Christian inspired that's actually well acted, well directed, well written, watch Greenleaf, which is on Oprah's channel OWN. And that shit is such a good show.
All right, so there you go, folks. We took it out, and that was, holy shit, that was a lot longer than 90 Minutes in Heaven, but we took it out and played with it a lot longer than we should have. Can we flush it, ladies? Can we please flush it?
To the 7th circle of hell.
All right, we'll go with that one.
I diddly flush the toilet there.
And consider it flushed, and there you go, folks. That is it for this week. I want to thank my lovely co-cinematic flushers, Midwest Movie Mogul Colleen Griffin, and Raging Buddha B Movie Queen Nora Kress. I want to thank our extended Clo Flushers content creator, the lovely Sara Polton. Sarah, thank you so much for your third go-around in the bowl. Bro, one of your worst. This is the worst, really, the three you've done.
This is the worst film I've ever seen, and my teeth are so white. Honestly, at the end of it.
So in the end, Jesus did help you.
Jesus did help you. There you go. Thank you, Sarah. We'll be back, and we're going to be back next week to torture you with something else. Until then, say goodbye, ladies.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Nora Crest, and I want to thank you for listening this week and every week as we flush these turds down our cinematic bowl here in the restroom. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on iTunes and Google Play Music so you don't miss a single episode. You can also follow us on Twitter and use #PodernFamily, or like us on Facebook, circle us up on Google+, and check out all of our episodes at our home restroom on the net, signalsoffury.com. Until next time, remember, we're here to flush it so you don't have to see it. I'm Nora Crest, and this has been the award-winning Soiled Restroom Cinema.